Dr. Jin Woo walked through the medical wing of Council Station Alpha with his usual calm steps. His white coat was spotless and his hands moved gently as he checked on patients from 7 different worlds. The alien beings trusted him completely. They had good reason to. Earth doctors were the best in the galaxy. Dr. Jin called Nurse Veltar a blue-skinned Zinthari with 4 arms. The Kronar ambassador is asking for you again. His stomach pain is worse. Jin Woo nodded and picked up his medical scanner. The Kronar were a tough warrior race, but they had weak stomachs. Most species did when they ate too much Council Station food. Jin had treated hundreds of them over the years. They always acted tough until they needed help. Then they became as gentle as children. Tell him I will be there soon, Jin Woo said in his quiet voice. Give him the green medicine first. It will help the pain. The medical wing was always busy. Council Station Alpha was the biggest meeting place in the galaxy. Representatives from 200 worlds came here to talk about trade, laws, and peace. Earth had been part of the Galactic Council for almost 300 years. In all that time, humans had never caused trouble. Jin Woo walked past the main window and looked out at the ships floating near the station. Most were cargo vessels bringing food and supplies. A few were diplomatic ships carrying important people. All of them were peaceful. The galaxy had not seen a real war in 3 centuries. That was how most people liked it. In the diplomatic section of the station, Ambassador Na Haye was finishing another long meeting. She sat at a round table with 12 other ambassadors. They had been talking for 6 hours about mining rights in the Outer Rim. It was boring work, but Na Haye was patient. She had been patient for 20 years as Earth's main ambassador. The Vorthak Empire wants to expand their mining operations, said Ambassador Quell, a gray-skinned Mantari. They say they need more resources for their growing population. Nahai looked at the data on her tablet. The Vorthak Empire controlled 12 star systems. They had the biggest military in the galaxy. They also had enough resources to last 1,000 years. But they always wanted more. The Vorthak can apply for mining permits like everyone else, Nahi said in her calm voice. The council has fair rules for all members. Ambassador Korthak, the Vorthak representative, made a low growling sound. He was 8 feet tall with thick gray skin and sharp teeth. Like all Vorthak, he looked like he was built for war. The Empire does not ask permission, Korthak said. We take what we need. Then you will need to change that attitude, Nahi replied without raising her voice. The council works through cooperation, not force. Other ambassadors nodded. They had seen this argument many times before. The Vorthak always threatened, but they never acted. The council was too strong and war was too expensive. Far from the station, Captain Tae Shin guided his ship through an asteroid field. The Harmony was one of Earth's few space vessels. Officially, it was a transport ship that carried supplies between Earth and the colonies. It had light weapons for clearing asteroids and defending against space pirates. Tae Shin had been flying the Harmony for 8 years. Most of his crew were young humans who wanted to see the galaxy. They spent their time moving medical supplies, food, and artwork between human settlements. It was peaceful work, but Tae Shin did not mind. Peace was good. Captain, called his first officer, Lee Hana. We have a message from Earth Command. They want us to deliver art supplies to Luna Colony. Luna Colony? Tae Shin asked. What kind of art supplies? Hana checked her screen. Painting materials for the children's school. And some musical instruments for the cultural center. Tae Shin smiled. Luna Colony was Earth's research station on the moon. 50,000 people lived there, including many families with children. The colony was famous for its peaceful research into plant growth and space medicine. Visitors from all over the galaxy came to learn from the scientists there. Set course for Luna, Tae Shin said. Tell them we will arrive tomorrow. The Harmony changed direction and began its journey toward Earth's solar system. Behind them, the asteroid field continued its slow dance around the local star. Everything was quiet and normal. Back on Council Station Alpha, Jin Woo was treating his last patient of the day. The Kronar ambassador was feeling much better after taking the green medicine. His stomach pain was gone and he was grateful. Human doctors are truly gifted, the ambassador said in his deep voice. My people are strong warriors, but we know nothing about healing. Everyone has different skills, Jin Woo replied as he put away his medical tools. The galaxy works best when we all help each other. The Kronar ambassador nodded. This is wisdom. The Vorthak could learn from humans. They think only of fighting and taking. They do not understand cooperation. Jinwoo had heard many people say similar things about the Vorthak Empire. They were respected for their military power, but not well liked. Most species found them too aggressive and impatient. Perhaps they will learn in time, Jinwoo said. Everyone can change. As the day ended, the three humans went about their normal activities. Jinwoo finished his medical reports and planned the next day's surgeries. Nahaye reviewed trade agreements and prepared for tomorrow's council meeting. Taishin checked his ship's systems and made sure his crew was ready for the journey to Luna Colony. None of them knew that deep in Vorthak space, Admiral Krix Vorthak was making a decision that would change everything. The young Vorthak prince was tired of waiting. He was tired of asking permission. He wanted to show the galaxy that the Vorthak Empire was not bound by council rules. His target was already chosen. Earth looked weak and defenseless. Humans were known for their medicine and art, not for fighting. A quick attack would prove that the galaxy belonged to the strong, not the peaceful. The admiral looked at his war fleet and smiled. Tomorrow he would remind everyone who really had power in the galaxy, but Admiral Krix Vorthak did not know what humans really were. He saw only what they chose to show the galaxy. He was about to learn that there was a very big difference between choosing peace and being unable to fight. The galaxy had been quiet for 300 years. That was about to change. Admiral Krix Vorthak stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Blood Talon. Around him floated 30 of the Empire's finest warships. Each ship carried enough firepower to destroy a small moon. The fleet had traveled for 3 days from Vorthak space to reach Earth's solar system. Krix was young for a Vorthak admiral, only 50 years old. His gray skin was darker than most of his people and his teeth were sharper. He wore the black uniform of the Empire's military elite. Red markings on his collar showed his rank and his royal blood. "Admiral," said his first officer, Colonel Vex, "we are approaching the human moon base. Should we send a surrender demand first?" Krix laughed, a sound like rocks grinding together. "Surrender demand to humans? They will see our ships and wet themselves with fear. We attack immediately." Colonel Vex looked uncomfortable. "Sir, the Council requires warnings before military action. Your father, the Emperor, said to follow proper procedures." "My father is old and weak," Krix snarled. "He wastes time with council rules and diplomatic nonsense. Today I show the galaxy that the Vorthak Empire takes what it wants." The young admiral walked to the main screen. Luna Colony appeared before them, a beautiful collection of white domes and towers on the moon's surface. Gardens and parks could be seen through transparent walls. Children played in safe areas while their parents worked in laboratories and cultural centers. "Look at them," Krix said with disgust. "Playing and singing while warriors approach. They do not even have defense shields." This was true. Luna Colony had no military defenses. It was a research station and cultural center, not a fortress. The 50,000 people living there included scientists, artists, teachers, and their families. Many were children who had been born on the moon and had never seen war. Dr. Yubo was working in the pediatric wing of Luna Colony's main hospital. She was treating a young boy who had broken his arm while playing in the low-gravity playground. The child was laughing as she wrapped his arm in a healing cast. "Will I be able to play gravity ball tomorrow?" the boy asked. "In 3 days," Yubo replied with a smile. "The healing cast will make your arm stronger than before." The boy's mother thanked her in the universal trade language. She was from Centauri Prime, and her family had come to Luna to study Earth's medical techniques. Hundreds of alien families lived on Luna Colony, learning from humans and sharing their own knowledge. In the engineering section, Han Q was checking the air recycling systems. His 3 children were in school, learning about art and science with kids from 12 different worlds. His wife worked in the agricultural domes, growing food for the colony using techniques that could feed hungry worlds throughout the galaxy. Han Q had been on Luna for 5 years. Before that, he had worked on transport ships, but he wanted a quiet life for his family. Luna Colony was perfect, safe, peaceful, and full of opportunities to learn and grow. "Dad," his youngest daughter had said that morning, "my teacher says we might see Earth today. The blue planet will be visible from the observation deck. We will look together after dinner," Han Q had promised. Now he would never get that chance. The attack came without warning. Krix Vorthak did not send a surrender demand. He did not announce his presence. He simply opened fire with every weapon his fleet possessed. The first blast destroyed Luna Colony's communication array. The people inside barely had time to realize they were under attack before the second wave of weapons fire began tearing through the colony structures. Dr. Yubo was thrown to the floor as explosions shook the hospital. Emergency lights began flashing and alarms screamed throughout the building. She got up and ran toward her patients, but another blast tore through the pediatric wing. The little boy with the broken arm and 6 other children died instantly. Han-Q tried to reach the emergency controls, but the engineering section was hit by a plasma torpedo. The explosion burned through 3 levels of the colony. Han-Q thought of his children in their school as the fire consumed him. The attack lasted 12 minutes. When it was over, Luna Colony was a burning ruin. 35,000 people were dead. The survivors were trapped in damaged sections, calling for help that would not come in time. Admiral Krix Vorthak watched the destruction with satisfaction. "Record this," he ordered. "Send the recording to all Council worlds. Let them see what happens to those who stand in the Empire's way." The bridge crew obeyed, though some looked uncomfortable. Attacking a civilian research station was not honorable, even by Vorthak standards. But no one dared question the Admiral. The recording spread across the galaxy in hours. Every Council world received the same message. Earth's moon colony has been destroyed. This is the price of weakness. Surrender your world to the Vorthak Empire, or share the same fate. On Council Station Alpha, Ambassador Nahai received the news in her office. She watched the recording 3 times without speaking. Her face showed no emotion, but her hands were completely still on her desk. Dr. Jin Wu was called to the communication center. The message had been sent to him personally because many of the dead were his former colleagues. He watched the recording and then sat down heavily in a chair. Captain Tei Shin received the news aboard the Harmony. He had been only 6 hours away from Luna Colony when the attack happened. His crew gathered around him as he played the message. Several of them began to cry. "Captain," asked Li Hana, "what do we do now?" Tei Shin was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, "Change course for Earth, full speed." "Earth? But sir, shouldn't we help with rescue operations?" "There is no one left to rescue," Tei Shin said quietly. "And Earth will need us for what comes next." At the Council emergency session, representatives from 200 worlds gathered to discuss the attack. Many demanded immediate action against the Vorthak Empire. Others worried about starting a galactic war. Ambassador Nahaya entered the chamber and walked to Earth's seat. Every eye in the room watched her. Everyone expected her to break down, to beg for help, or to cry for her dead people. Instead, she stood at her podium and spoke in the same calm voice she always used. "The Galactic Council will recess for 48 hours, she said. "Earth requests time to consult with our home government about our response to this attack." The chamber erupted in confused voices. The Mantari ambassador stood up. "Ambassador Nahai, we must act immediately. Every hour we delay gives the Vorthak more time to attack other worlds." 48 hours, Nahai repeated. "That is all we need." The Kronar ambassador, who had been treated by Dr. Jin Wu, leaned forward. "What will your people do in 48 hours? Earth has no military. Your ships are transport vessels and research platforms." Nahai looked at him with the same patient expression she had worn for 20 years. But something in her eyes was different. Something cold and dangerous. "We will make a decision," she said simply. As the council session ended, ambassadors from across the galaxy wondered what Earth could possibly do. Humans were doctors and artists. They had no weapons, no warships, and no military training. They were victims, not fighters. Admiral Krix Vorthak laughed when he heard about Earth's request for time. 48 hours to surrender, he told his officers. At least they know when they are beaten. But on Earth, something was already happening. In cities around the world, people stopped what they were doing and looked up at the sky. They thought about Luna Colony and the children who had died there. They thought about Dr. Yubo and Han-Q and 35,000 other innocent people. The galaxy had been peaceful for 300 years because Earth chose peace. That choice had just been revoked, and Admiral Krix Vorthak was about to learn the difference between choosing not to fight and being unable to fight. The first sign that something had changed on Earth came 12 hours after the Luna Colony attack. Traffic in every major city simply stopped, not because of accidents or emergencies, but because people had abandoned their vehicles and walked away. In Seoul, a farmer named Kim Dae left his rice fields and walked to an old storage building that had been locked for 30 years. He placed his hand on a scanner that should not have existed. The door opened, revealing equipment that definitely should not have existed. In New York, a schoolteacher named Park Sue gathered her students and calmly told them class was canceled. Then she walked to the basement of the school and opened a hidden panel behind the furnace. Inside were weapons and communication devices that had been waiting for decades. In London, a street artist named Lee Minho finished painting a mural on the side of a building. The painting showed children playing under a blue sky. It was beautiful and peaceful. When he was done, Minho activated a hidden switch in his paint case. Across the city, other murals began glowing with the same soft light. They were not just art, they were signals. General Young Jun had been retired for 15 years. His official record said he was a farmer who grew vegetables for the local market. His neighbors knew him as a quiet man who kept to himself and was very good with plants. The truth was different. When the Luna Colony alert reached his farm, Young Jun walked to his greenhouse and pushed aside a wall of tomato plants. Behind them was a communication center that could reach every military installation on Earth and dozens of hidden bases throughout the galaxy. "Nightfall protocol is now active," he said into the microphone. "All units report status." The responses came immediately. From a fishing village in Japan, submarine fleet ready, 64 vessels operational. From a research station in Antarctica, strategic command online, all satellite networks responding. From a mining operation in the asteroid belt, fleet positions confirmed. "We have been tracking Vorthak movements for 3 days." Young Jun had not worn his general's uniform in 15 years. Now he put it on and looked at himself in the mirror. The uniform still fit perfectly. The man looking back at him was not a farmer. He was the supreme commander of humanity's hidden military forces. Dr. A. Kyung had spent the last 20 years teaching botany at Seoul University. Her students loved her classes about plant genetics and agricultural improvement. She had published hundreds of research papers about making crops grow better in difficult conditions. None of her students knew that her real specialty was weapons technology. When the alert came, I Kyung walked to her private laboratory and activated systems that had been dormant for decades. The room filled with holographic displays showing weapon designs that were 50 years ahead of anything the galaxy had ever seen. "Computer," she said, "begin production of Package 7. Authorization Omega Black. Package 7 requires authorization from Strategic Command." The computer replied. "Strategic Command has been activated. General Young Jun sends his regards. Authorization confirmed. Package 7 production beginning. Estimated completion time, 36 hours. Package 7 was a weapon system that could disable an entire star fleet without killing anyone aboard the ships. It had been designed as a last resort, something to use only if Earth faced total destruction. The Luna Colony attack qualified. Captain So-Mi had been flying cargo runs between Earth and the outer colonies for 8 years. Her ship, the Peace Trader, carried food, medical supplies, and artwork to human settlements throughout the galaxy. She was known as a careful pilot who always delivered her cargo on time. The truth was that So-Mi had been one of Earth's best fighter pilots before the peace era began. The Peace Trader looked like a simple cargo vessel, but hidden in its cargo bays were weapon systems that could outfight any military ship in the galaxy. When the alert reached her ship, So-Mi activated her real controls. The Peace Trader transformed. Hidden panels opened to reveal missile launchers and energy weapons. The engines changed configuration, increasing the ship's speed by 300%. "Command, this is Shadow Leader," she said into her headset. "Ready for orders. Shadow Leader, report to Rally Point Alpha. Bring your squadron." So-Mi smiled. Her squadron was scattered across the galaxy, disguised as cargo haulers, passenger transports, and research vessels. But they were all former military pilots, and their ships were all hidden warships. Within 18 hours, the transformation was complete. Earth's peaceful civilization revealed its true nature. The farmers were military engineers. The teachers were intelligence officers. The artists were weapons specialists. The cargo ships were warships. The research stations were command centers. The galaxy watched in confusion as Earth's response became clear. This was not the reaction of helpless victims. This was the mobilization of a military force that had been hiding in plain sight for 3 centuries. On Council Station Alpha, Ambassador Na Haye received reports from her home world. She read them with the same calm expression she had worn for 20 years. Then she called a press conference. Representatives from every major news service in the galaxy attended. They expected to see a broken woman begging for help. Instead, they saw the same patient diplomat they had always known. Earth has made its decision regarding the attack on Luna Colony, Nahai said. We will respond appropriately. A reporter from the Centauri Broadcasting Network raised his hand. Ambassador, what kind of response can Earth make? You have no military force. Nahai looked at him for a long moment. That is an incorrect assumption. But Earth has been peaceful for 300 years, another reporter said. Your people are doctors and artists, not soldiers. Earth has been peaceful, Nahai agreed, because we chose to be peaceful. That choice has been withdrawn. The reporters looked confused. A Mantari journalist leaned forward. Are you saying Earth has a hidden military? I am saying, Nahai replied, that you have lived in peace for 3 centuries because Earth wanted you to live in peace. You have assumed this was because we were weak. You were wrong. She stood up and walked to the large window that showed the stars beyond the station. Every human you have met for the past 300 years has been exactly what they appeared to be. They were doctors, artists, teachers, farmers, and builders. But they were also something else. What? Asked the Centauri reporter. Nahai turned back to face them. For the first time in 20 years, her diplomatic mask slipped. The woman looking at them was not just a patient negotiator. She was something much more dangerous. They were soldiers, she said, every single one of them waiting. The press conference ended in chaos. Reporters rushed to send the news across the galaxy. Earth had not just hidden a military force. They had hidden an entire warrior civilization behind a mask of peaceful culture. Admiral Crix Vorthak received the news aboard his flagship. He was still celebrating his victory at Luna Colony when his intelligence officer brought him the reports from Earth. This must be propaganda, Crix said after reading the reports. Humans are weak. I have seen their ships. They carry no weapons. Sir, the intelligence officer said carefully, our long-range sensors are detecting unusual activity in Earth's solar system. Many ships are changing configuration. They appear to be revealing hidden weapon systems. Crix looked at the sensor data. What he saw made no sense. Cargo ships were becoming battleships. Research platforms were revealing themselves as military command centers. The entire human fleet was transforming. How many ships? Crix asked. We count over 800 vessels, sir, all showing military-grade weapon signatures. Crix felt cold fear in his stomach. 800 warships was more than the entire Vorthak fleet. And these were not the simple transport vessels they had appeared to be. These were advanced warships with technology the Empire had never seen. Send a message to the Emperor, Crix said. Tell him we may need reinforcements, but it was already too late for reinforcements. The hidden fleets of humanity were moving. They had been scattered across the galaxy for decades, waiting for the day when Earth's long peace would end. That day had come. On Earth, General Young Jun looked at the tactical displays in his command center. Every human military unit in the galaxy was reporting ready. The transformation was complete. Sir, his aide said, the fleets are in position. Shall we begin? Young Jun thought about Dr. Yubo and the children who had died in her hospital. He thought about Han Q and the family he would never see again. He thought about 35,000 innocent people who had been murdered to satisfy one fool's ambition. Yes, he said, begin Operation Homecoming. Show them what they have awakened. The war began at exactly 0600 Earth Standard Time, 72 hours after the Luna Colony attack. It ended 6 days later with the complete surrender of the Vorthak Empire. The galaxy had never seen anything like it. The first engagement happened at the edge of Vorthak space, where Admiral Crix Vorthak's fleet was rushing back to defend their homeworlds. They expected to face a small human rescue fleet trying to help survivors from Luna Colony. Instead, they found Captain So-Mi waiting for them with 200 ships. Crix stared at his tactical display in disbelief. The human vessels had appeared from nowhere, using stealth technology that made them invisible until they chose to reveal themselves. Each ship was sleek and dangerous, nothing like the peaceful cargo vessels Earth was supposed to operate. How did they get here so fast? Crix demanded. Earth is 12 light years away. His tactical officer checked the sensors 3 times before answering. Sir, these ships were already here. They have been hiding in the asteroid fields for weeks, maybe months. Impossible. Our scouts would have detected them. Sir, the officer said quietly. Our scouts found what the humans wanted us to find. These are not the same ships we have been watching. Captain So-Mi opened a communication channel to the Vorthak flagship. Her voice was calm and professional, but there was steel underneath. Admiral Crix Vorthak, she said. You are surrounded. Surrender your fleet and prepare to be escorted to Earth for trial. Crix laughed, the sound harsh and ugly. One human giving orders to the Vorthak Empire? You have 200 ships. I have 30 of the most powerful warships in the galaxy. Yes, So-Mi replied. But you are thinking like a Vorthak. We do not think like Vorthaks. The battle lasted 18 minutes. The human ships moved like nothing the Vorthak had ever encountered. They did not form battle lines or trade fire in traditional patterns. Instead, they flowed around the Vorthak fleet like water, striking from unexpected angles and disappearing before return fire could find them. Dr. A. Kyung's weapons performed exactly as designed. Instead of destroying the Vorthak ships, they disabled them completely. Power systems shut down. Weapons went offline. Life support continued working, but everything else simply stopped functioning. One by one, the mighty warships of the Vorthak Empire became helpless metal shells floating in space. What is happening? Crix screamed at his crew. Why are our weapons not working? The humans are using some kind of electronic warfare system, his technical officer reported. It is shutting down our technology without damaging it. I have never seen anything like this. Then use manual controls. Fight with emergency systems. Sir, the manual controls are not responding either. Whatever they are doing, it affects everything electronic on the ship. Captain So-Mi's voice came over the communication system again. Admiral Crix, your fleet is disabled but undamaged. Your crews are safe. You have 1 minute to surrender before we demonstrate what our weapons can do when we choose to destroy, rather than disable. Crix looked around his bridge. Every screen was dead. Every control panel was dark. His mighty flagship was as helpless as a child's toy. I surrender, he whispered. The second major engagement took place at the Vorthak border worlds, where General Young-Jun led the main human fleet against the Empire's defensive installations. The Vorthak had built massive space, fortresses and orbital weapons platforms to protect their territory. Young-Jun's approach was simple and terrifying in its efficiency. All units, he broadcast to his fleet. Execute Procedure 7. Simultaneous infiltration of all defensive positions. The human ships did not attack the fortresses. Instead, they disappeared again, using stealth technology to approach undetected. Then, at exactly the same moment across 12 different star systems, human special forces teams materialized inside every Vorthak military installation. They had used teleportation, technology that the galaxy thought was impossible. The Vorthak defenders found themselves facing human soldiers who seemed to appear out of thin air, but these soldiers did not kill anyone. Instead, they systematically shut down every weapon, every shield generator, and every communication system in the installations. Within 4 hours, the entire Vorthak border defense network was offline. Not destroyed, but completely neutralized. The human soldiers had disabled everything without harming a single Vorthak defender. Emperor Gorvak Vorthak, Crix's father, received the reports in his throne room on the Vorthak homeworld. He was an old warrior who had conquered 12 star systems through strength and cunning. He had never experienced defeat. How many humans? He asked his military advisors. Our estimates suggest 30,000 troops were involved in the infiltration, General Vask replied. But sir, that number makes no sense. To coordinate simultaneous attacks across 12 systems would require military planning beyond anything we thought possible. And our fleets? Disabled but intact, my lord. The humans seem to prefer capturing our ships rather than destroying them. Emperor Gorvak stood from his throne and walked to the great window that looked out over his capital city. Millions of Vorthak lived in the towers and structures below. They had been the masters of this part of the galaxy for 3 centuries. Send a message to Earth, he said. Tell them the Empire requests negotiations. Sir? General Vask looked confused. We still have our home fleet. We still have planetary defenses. We can fight. The Emperor turned to look at his general. Vask, in 3 days the humans have destroyed our border defenses and captured our best admiral. They have done this without killing anyone. What do you think they could do if they decided to stop being merciful? Before General Vask could answer, alarms began sounding throughout the palace. A communication officer ran into the throne room. My lord, Human ships have appeared in orbit around our homeworld. Emperor Gorvac closed his eyes. How many ships? 300, sir. They appeared from nowhere. Our sensors detected nothing until they revealed themselves. The Emperor walked back to his throne and sat down heavily. Open a channel to the human fleet. The main screen in the throne room activated, showing the bridge of a human warship. General Young Jun appeared, wearing a simple military uniform with no decorations except a small pin showing Earth's symbol. Emperor Gorvac, Young Jun said politely. I am General Young Jun of the Earth Defense Forces. We need to talk. What are your terms? The Emperor asked. Unconditional surrender of all Vorthak military forces. Admiral Crix Vorthak will be tried for war crimes. Your government will pay reparations to the families of those killed at Luna Colony, and the Vorthak Empire will accept Earth supervision of your military for the next 50 years. Emperor Gorvac felt anger rise in his chest. You ask us to become your slaves? No, Young Jun replied calmly. We ask you to learn to be civilized. The galaxy has been peaceful for 300 years. You chose to break that peace. Now you will learn to keep it. And if we refuse? Young Jun was quiet for a moment. When he spoke again, his voice was still calm, but something in his eyes had changed. Emperor, your son attacked a research station full of children. He murdered 35,000 innocent people to make a point about power. If you refuse our terms, we will show you what power really looks like. The Emperor looked at the tactical display showing the human ships surrounding his homeworld. Each ship carried enough firepower to destroy a city, and there were 300 of them. How do I know you will not destroy us anyway? He asked. Because, Young Jun said, we are not Vorthaks. We do not kill for pleasure or to prove our strength. We kill only when we must, to protect the innocent. Surrender now and your people will live to build a better future. Emperor Gorvac looked around his throne room at the advisors and generals who had served him for decades. All of them were staring at the human ships on the screen. All of them knew that resistance was impossible. I surrender, the Emperor said. The formal surrender ceremony took place 3 days later on Council Station, Alpha. Emperor Gorvac signed the peace treaty while representatives from 200 worlds watched. Admiral Crix Vorthak was taken into human custody to await trial. As he was led away in restraints, Crix looked back at General Young Jun. How? He asked. How did humans become so powerful while pretending to be weak? Young Jun looked at the young admiral who had started a war and ended an empire in 6 days. We never pretended to be weak, he said. We chose to be peaceful. There is a difference. You forced us to show you what that difference means. The war was over. The galaxy was safe, but everything had changed. Humans were no longer seen as gentle healers and artists. They were recognized as the most dangerous military force in the known universe, a force that had been watching and waiting for 3 centuries, ready to act the moment someone threatened the peace they had worked so hard to maintain. The age of human protection had begun. 6 months after the war ended, Ambassador Na Hai stood before the reformed Galactic Council. The chamber had been rebuilt and expanded to accommodate new members and new rules. Earth now held the position of Guardian Protector, a role that had never existed before but was now considered essential. The Council had voted unanimously to create this position after witnessing humanity's swift victory over the Vorthak Empire. Every species in the galaxy understood that Earth was now the ultimate authority on matters of peace and security. The Terran protection protocols are now in effect, Nahai announced to the assembled ambassadors. Her voice carried the same calm tone it always had, but everyone now understood the power behind those quiet words. Any attack on civilian populations will result in immediate human intervention. Any species that chooses conquest over cooperation will face the full response of Earth's military forces. These protocols are not negotiable and are not subject to council debate. The Mantari ambassador raised his hand. Ambassador Nahai, what about species that have legitimate grievances? What if diplomatic solutions cannot be found? Nahai nodded. Earth will also expand the Terran peace accords. Any species seeking to resolve conflicts through negotiation will receive full human support. We will provide mediators, resources, and protection during peace talks. We want to help you solve problems, not create them. In the audience section, representatives from dozens of worlds listened carefully. Many of them had territorial disputes or trade disagreements that had been growing worse over the years. The offer of human mediation was appealing, especially since everyone now knew what happened to those who chose war over peace. Dr. Jin Woo had returned to his medical duties on Council Station Alpha, but his role had expanded significantly. He now supervised medical teams from Earth, who were stationed throughout the galaxy. These teams provided advanced healthcare to any world that requested it, free of charge. The medical program was part of Earth's new strategy. Where humans had once hidden their abilities, they now shared them openly. Alien patients who had benefited from human medical care became natural ambassadors for Earth's peaceful intentions. Dr. Jin asked his assistant, a young Zenthari named Kevlar, "Why is Earth giving away so much medical knowledge? Your technology could be worth billions of credits." Jin Woo continued checking the healing progress of a Kronar patient. "Knowledge is only valuable when it helps people," he said. "If we hoard our medical advances, beings die who could have been saved. That is not acceptable." The Kronar patient opened his eyes and looked at Jin Woo gratefully. "Human medicine saved my life," he said in his deep voice. "My people will not forget this kindness." Stories like this were being repeated across the galaxy. Human doctors, engineers, and teachers were working on hundreds of worlds, solving problems and building trust. The same species that could destroy a star fleet in hours was also capable of unlimited generosity. Captain Tae Shin now commanded a proper warship, the New Harmony, but his mission remained largely the same. He transported supplies and personnel between Earth and the colonies. But now he did so with the full protection of humanity's revealed military power. His first officer, Lihana, had been promoted and given her own ship. She was part of a new program that paired human vessels with ships from other species. The goal was to share technology and build joint defense capabilities. "Captain," Hana said during a communication call, "the Centauri Defense Fleet wants to upgrade their weapon systems using our designs. Should we approve?" Tae-Shin looked at the request on his screen. The Centauri had been Earth's allies for over a century. They had also sent doctors to help treat the Luna colony survivors. "Approved," he said, "but remind them that these weapons are for defense only. Any misuse will be dealt with appropriately." The rehabilitation of the Vorthak Empire was proceeding slowly but steadily. Emperor Gorvak had stepped down from the throne and been replaced by a council of civilian leaders. The Empire's military was being rebuilt under human supervision, with a focus on defense rather than conquest. Admiral Krix Vorthak sat in a comfortable but secure facility on Earth, awaiting his trial for war crimes. He had been given access to books, educational programs, and regular visits from psychologists who specialized in helping aggressive species learn to control their violent impulses. General Young Jun visited him once a week. "Why do you come here?" Krix asked during one of these visits. "I murdered your people. I destroyed your colony. Why do you not simply execute me?" Young Jun sat across from the young Vorthak in the visiting room. "Because killing you would not bring back the people who died. But helping you understand why you were wrong might prevent future tragedies." "I am a warrior," Krix said. "My people are warriors. We take what we need." "No," Young Jun replied. "You are not warriors. Warriors fight to protect others. You are raiders who attack the weak to make yourselves feel strong. There is a difference." Krix was quiet for a long moment. "The families of those I killed, do they know I am here?" "Some of them. A few have asked to speak with you." "What do they want?" "To understand why their children had to die. To see if you can become someone different than the person who killed them." Krix looked down at his hands. In the months since his capture, he had been forced to learn about the people he had killed. Dr. Yubo, who had spent her life healing children. Han Q, who had wanted to show his daughter the Earth from Luna's observation deck. Thousands of others who had died for no reason except to satisfy his ambition. "I would like to speak with them," he said quietly. "If they are willing," Young Jun nodded. "I will arrange it. But Krix, you need to understand something. Forgiveness is not the same as freedom. You will spend the rest of your life working to repair the damage you caused. That is justice." Dr. A. Kyung had returned to teaching, but her classes were now attended by students from across the galaxy. Her official subject was still botany, but she also taught courses on ethical technology development and the responsibilities that came with advanced knowledge. "Professor," asked a student from Rigel 7, "why did Earth hide its technology for so long? You could have helped so many people." A. Kyung looked out the window of her classroom at the gardens beyond. Students from 20 different worlds were working together to grow plants that could feed hungry populations throughout the galaxy. "Power without wisdom is dangerous," she said. "We needed to learn how to use our abilities responsibly before we revealed them. The Vorthak attack forced us to act before we felt ready, but the galaxy demanded protection." She turned back to her students. "All of you will return to your homeworlds with knowledge that could change your civilizations. The question is, will you use that knowledge to help others or to gain power over them?" A young Mantari student raised her hand. "How do we know the difference?" "Ask yourself who benefits from your actions," Akyung replied. "If the answer is everyone, you are probably making the right choice. If the answer is only you need to reconsider." Captain So-mi had been promoted to admiral and given command of the Rapid Response Fleet. Her ships patrolled the galaxy, ready to intervene whenever conflicts arose. Most of the time, their mere presence was enough to prevent violence. "Admiral," reported her communications officer, "we are receiving a distress call from the Outer Rim. The Zilani and Corvin systems are having a territorial dispute. Both sides are mobilizing their fleets, so me looked at the tactical display. The two species had been arguing over mining rights in an asteroid belt for months. Now it looked like they were ready to fight. Set course for the disputed system," she ordered. "Send messages to both fleets. Tell them Earth mediators are en route and all military action must cease immediately." "And if they refuse?" asked her tactical officer. So-mi smiled. "They won't refuse. Everyone knows what happened to the last people who chose war over peace." The Rapid Response Fleet arrived in the disputed system 6 hours later. Both the Zilani and Corvin fleets were holding position near the asteroid belt, weapons powered but not targeted. The arrival of the human ships changed everything. Within hours, representatives from both species were aboard So-mi's flagship, negotiating a peaceful solution to their dispute. The asteroid belt was divided fairly, with both sides agreeing to joint mining operations that would benefit everyone. It was a small victory, but it represented something larger. The galaxy was learning to solve its problems without violence. On Earth, a memorial had been built for the victims of Luna Colony. It stood in a park in Geneva, where the old United Nations building had once housed humanity's early attempts at global cooperation. The memorial was simple, a black stone wall with 35,000 names carved into it. At the base of the wall was a single inscription: "Peace through choice, not weakness. Vigilance through strength, not fear." General Young-jun visited the memorial every month. He would read the names and remember the faces of the people who had died. Their sacrifice had awakened humanity's true nature and saved the galaxy from a new age of war ambassador. Nahai concluded her address to the reformed Galactic Council with a statement that would be remembered for centuries. "The gardeners still tend their gardens," she said, looking at the representatives of 200 worlds. "But now everyone knows what happens to those who would burn them down."